right. Hello, Dames members. It's 2020, and this is the first webinar of our season. Today, we are so excited to have Carol Glenn here, and she is a customer specialist for the Girl Scouts. So Carol and I met a while ago when I was trying to figure out how we could get the Autism Society and Girl Scouts to work together so that girls had more opportunities to help and to be around differently abled kids. Carol is just absolutely amazing, and she has been really pushing for the Girl Scouts to become more inclusive with the programs that they have and with getting more girls into troops that are going to support them and be, okay, and actually really welcome these kids that have disabilities into their troops. And I was a Girl Scout for years. I got all the way up to my silver award, and I absolutely loved it. And when I looked back on my Girl Scout life, I think I was just kind of sad that I didn't ever interact with kids with disabilities within the Girl Scout community. And I think that Carol really pushing for this inclusion and really wanting the Girl Scouts to be a more inclusive environment is just amazing. And it has just been such a pleasure to work with her for the last year. I think we've been working together. And it's just been really wonderful. So she works in the leadership development organization within Girl Scouts. She works at the Parsons Leadership Center, which I think she's going to talk about. It's a beautiful facility. If you have not been there, I highly recommend going for a tour because it's stunning. And it's a really inclusive environment, which is fantastic. So Carol, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
And really appreciate everything that you do and really excited to hear your presentation.
Thanks, Michelle. I really appreciate it, and I'm very excited to be able to be a part of working with you on so many different areas. And I've appreciated your support as well and your guidance. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm really excited to have this conversation today.
All right, I'll let you take it away.
All right, thanks, Michelle. All right, so hello and good morning, everyone. As Michelle mentioned, I'm here at our Parsons Leadership Center. This is our camp facility at 16th Street in Dobbins. So again, if you're over in the area and you love a tour, we would be more than happy to walk you around camp. This is our ADA accessible camp, so I can highlight some of those opportunities as well when you come and visit us. So I'm not sure how much background anyone has on our programming, but this is our founder, Juliet Gordon-Lowe. She founded our program in 1912, and she gathered 18 girls in Savannah, Georgia. And she wanted this program to be for all girls, and she completely, wholeheartedly believed in that opportunity and believed in girls. She had a vision that she wanted to create a program that would prepare them for the world that they're living in through providing them opportunities that they rebuild girls of courage, confidence, and character. During her wedding ceremony in 1886, she had a grain of rice that was thrown in her ear accidentally by a guest, and it lodged in her ear, and that is actually what caused her frequent ear infections, and she eventually developed deafness in both of her ears. She also had breast cancer in 1923, but she continued to keep that a secret and work with the girls as well because she loved the program so much. So, as I mentioned, our movement started in Savannah, Georgia in 1912 with 18 girls. Nationally, we serve about 1.7 million girls and 750,000 adults. Locally, within our council, which is Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus Pine, we serve about 24,568 girls and about 9,829 adults. And our council covers approximately 75,000 square miles in Arizona. So our mission is Girl Scouting builds girls of courage, confidence, and character to make the world a better place. The two things that we believe in and we live by is our Girl Scout promise and our Girl Scout law, which are promises on my honor. I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. Our Girl Scout law is I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout. So, our council has made great strides within the past few years as far as being an organization that has developed DEI, which is our policy that we live by, and we increased our spirit of inclusion document. Now, this document is available on our website and is also provided to volunteers and troop leaders so that they kind of understand where we stand as a council on inclusive troops for our girls. Inclusion to us means that all girls plan and participate in all activities, regardless of their level of ability. Inclusion means that girls with disabilities participate in activities alongside girls without disabilities, and that they're of the same age and in the same troop or group. We strongly believe that inclusion benefits all girls, and we know that as a fact. This document, our Spirit of Inclusion document, makes sure that it covers the first person language and ways that troop leaders can provide adaptations and modifications for the girls that are in their troop. So, Girl Scouts believes in a Girl Scout leadership experience. So, at Girl Scouts, your girl will be able to define her inner girl, GIRL, which is the go getter, innovator, risk taker, or leader. Through this leadership experience, she's going to have the chance to earn badges. She's going to have the opportunity to go on amazing trips with her troops. She sells cookies, with just by the way, cookie sales are now in effect. So watch for the girls when they're out selling, and just support them and ask questions. They love to talk about their experience. One big thing we're really putting a lot of focus in is also participating in STEM activities, where they're going outdoors, they're getting engaged in the community, because one of the things that we really believe in for our girls is community service and giving back to the community. And she's also going to be inspired to discover her talents and her passions through a safe and supportive all-girls setting. We have our higher rewards, which is our bronze, silver, gold, and this really is a benefit for the girls because they get that experience on how they can make a difference in the community, and it also gives them opportunities for scholarships that they might not get outside of that experience with Girl Scouts, and it just gives them that sense of well-being and that they're making a difference in the world that they're in. So a little backstory about me is back in 2017, I actually worked in member placement, which was connecting families that were interested in troops with troops that were active in the community. So we started seeing an increase of calls coming in from families that had girls that were differently able. And it was a bit of a challenge to get them connected with troops because we wanted to make sure that who they were getting connected with was able to support them. So I started to see that need in the community, and it was at that point that I decided that I needed to start going out and talking to different organizations to understand how we can be a better partner and resource with these families. So it was just contacting the agencies and talking about, like what is it that we can do to make sure that we're telling our story better to these families and providing a needed service for these girls as well. So you can see since 2017, we've participated in all of these different activities within the community for different agencies, and it's been such a blessing to me and to our organization to be able to connect and talk with these families, because I'll be honest and say that the first question I always get is, my daughter can join Girl Scouts, and absolutely, your daughter can join Girl Scouts because this is a program that's for all girls. So these are some of the ones that we've done 2017 to 2019. We're already scheduled for 3 events within the next couple months, and we're looking to absolutely grow that. But out of these efforts, last year, it says 38 on your screen, but we were actually able to register 40 new girls and welcome their families into the Girl Scout program. So we're really excited about that. So I thought one of the best ways that I can share all the amazing things with all of you that these girls have done is just share a tiny little bit of the pictures of all the different activities and the ways that these girls are giving back to the community and making a change in the world. It gets a little emotional for me when I look at these pictures because I've had the blessing and privilege of getting to know all of these girls, these troop leaders, these families, and can't say enough about them because they've made my life better. They're making our programming better by being out in the community and showing just what a girl can do. So as Michelle mentioned a little earlier, it's been such a pleasure getting to know her and to work with her on several different things as far as like with her James group, and then as far as being with the Autism Society. We were able to create this amazing partnership with them, and their Central Phoenix meetings are now being held here once a month at the Parsons Leadership Center for Women and Girls. The greatest part of this is that we actually developed a training program for our program aides. So Michelle developed a video for us. The girls sit down, they watch the video, they kind of learn exactly the best way to communicate with the kids, to interact with the kids, and just how to support the kids. And then once they've watched that video, they can then go and be a part of the meetings that are here. And then the girls kind of take over on the kids side and develop the programming with them. They lead them in some activities, and they just kind of, they know at that point the ins and outs of what they need to do to be successful in being a program aide outside of Girl Scouts as well. So we're really hoping that we can actually grow that program a little more, because currently, like I mentioned, it's here just at Central Phoenix, but we would love to be able to support the programs that the Autism Society has all over the valley. And we're working on future opportunities like this as well. We're hoping that we can connect this with the Down Syndrome Network soon and any other agencies that we can kind of get this up and going, because we believe that it's such a critical issue for the girls to be able to understand how to move forward in the world and make sure that they're welcoming of all. So this really has given these girls this opportunity to kind of understand how to be the best support for these kids that they're seeing in a day-to-day basis. So one of the great things about being a Girl Scout is we get to work on badges, and badges are fun, and they give these girls a lot of experience. So girls, we recently developed 42 new badges. So girls that are currently in 6th through 12th grade, some of the new badges that they've developed are through cybersecurity, space science, and think like a scientist. So the girls really are excited about these because they've been kind of asking for some change. And these are some of the areas that they wanted to see some different topics. So we've got those new badges. And then girls that are K through 12, the great thing is we're kind of encouraging them to get back outdoors. We obviously, as Girl Scouts, we've always been camping, but we're really encouraging kind of kicking that up a little bit as far as backpacking, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, rock climbing, and tree climbing, and then coding. We all know that the kids are very technologically savvy, so a lot of the girls were starting to see a need for coding, so we definitely listened and developed some programming for them there. And then if you're interested in learning about the badges, you can go and explore all the different badges that we have. Our program runs Daisy through Ambassador, so you can kind of see the different ways that those badges escalate for them as they go through the program. Now, the one great thing that we have in Girl Scouts is our summer camp program. And with Arizona Cactus Pine, we have 4 camps within Arizona. 3 of them are up north, and then we have our Parsons Leadership. So Camp Marapi is in Prescott, Shadow Rim is in Payson, and Willow Springs is also in Prescott. We actually just released our upcoming 2020 camp session. So if you're interested in kind of taking a look to see what we have to offer, my contact information is going to be at the end. So I would be more than happy to send you a catalog or send you the link that we have online. As I mentioned earlier, our Parsons Leadership Center, which is here at 16th Street in Dobbins, one of the great things for that is that this is set up as a day camp. So it would be dropping off in the morning, picking up in the afternoon. But if your girl decides, hey, I just don't want to come home, I'm having too much fun, we can add on overnight options for those girls as well. So it really gives them, they can kind of get their feet wet in camp. Or if they're really having fun, they can also stay overnight and have a larger and longer camp experience. But as far as it being an ADA accessible campus, we do have electric door paddles. The cabins are ADA accessible with entry in and out of the shower. There's ADA benches. We have an ADA lift in the pool. And then we also have assistive listening technology and equipment in the learning hall for AV presentation. And we are always having conversations on how we can improve our camps as far as accessibility. So if your camper decides that she wants to, go to Camp Marapi, we always just have that conversation with the camp director to see how we can make that process happen for her. So any questions that you have, here is my contact information. If you're interested in coming and taking a look at our facility, I'd be more than happy to show you around. And I mean, it's a beautiful campus. You can't really beat it. I mean, I'm, not like I'm impartial or anything, but it is an opportunity and it's a great facility for your girls to kind of get that first camp experience. But if you're looking for a Girl Scout troop, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you. One of the things I've developed too is we've started communicating better with our troop leaders. So we want to make sure that the girls are getting connected with a troop that's going to be able to support them. So we've got a whole long list of amazing troop leaders that are just ready to welcome their girls. So I really appreciate being a part of your presentation today. I thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about Girl Scouts, and I really hope that I can see you all there because we're all about welcoming more and we want to make this the biggest and the best opportunity for your girls.
All right. Thank you, Carol, so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
So one thing that I heard that I thought was very interesting, so for leaders, you said you had some kind of a pamphlet or a manual about how to welcome kids that are differently abled into their troop. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how that came about?
Yes, so it's our Spirit of Inclusion document, and I'll be honest, it's a very basic document that kind of gives them a little bit of an in and out on, what to expect, how to communicate with girls, how to provide accommodations if they're needed, and things like that. We are going to be doing a little bit of a focus on trying to get some training developed this year for troop leaders as well, and also for staff, because we've got a lot of new staff that's come in too, so we want to make sure that they have some disability awareness training.
Wonderful. That's what I was going to ask you about because I know we had a representative from Autism Society come and talk to the leaders. Will you talk about a little bit about that and what happened during that meeting?
It actually was at our all staff meeting. She came and did this amazing interactive presentation for all of us. Our all staff meetings are basically a day that we set aside and it's kind of pretty self-explanatory where all staff comes, and we get together and we discuss issues. And Stacy came and did this amazing presentation for us that was kind of an eye-opening opportunity because I get to know these kids and these families and I see it, and I understand it, but there's some people, that don't have that opportunity to really be around, certain individuals or understand what it means. There might be this, you say one word, whether it's autism, Down syndrome, or what it is, and there's like that stigma that comes with it. So it was an opportunity for us to kind of break that stigma and really be better at understanding how when we're out and about in the community that we can be a better support for these families.
Yeah, I think that that's huge. And I think that, the more you open up the eyes of people who are leaders, about what autism is or what Down syndrome is, that these kids are just kids.
Yeah.
They want to have fun just like every other kid,
Exactly. And that's what we really want to do better at those conversations when we're out and about in the community and be like, look, here is the space where your girl can be a girl.
Mhm.
Period. End of story.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's really great. And, I think that when you look at the grand scheme of how many girls are in Girl Scouts, I think you said 24,000 girls in Arizona.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, 40 of them have special needs that you got in this last year.
Right.
That's a relatively small number, but it's a good number. You know what I mean? Like it's a start. Like, these things don't happen overnight. They happen slowly until they explode. You know what I mean?
And I think
So,
that was the challenge for me when I first kind of took my step into having those conversations. Is like my first event that I went to, I was like, I'm going to this event. I'm going to come home with 100 names. We're going to get this done, and I was ready to do this. And like I said, the first question that I was asked was, "Can my daughter be a Girl Scout?" And I didn't know how to respond because I didn't even think that that was a question I would ever hear. So it was kind of a reality moment for me and be like, okay, I've got to take those couple steps back, and we've got to we've got to be there. We have to show up, and we have to have those conversations, and we have to listen to everyone, and what it is that they're looking for their girls, what their expectations are, where their concerns are. So it's like you said, it is not an instantaneous thing, and I totally appreciate that. And every one of the families I've talked to, I'm so thankful for that open and honest communication. And whether it takes a year for you to trust us, 2 years, we're here. Girl
yeah.
Scouts is not going anywhere, so I'm really excited about building those relationships with the family.
Yes, I think once you get the first couple girls in, then it's like, oh, okay, this is fine. Like it's fine. Like,
Yeah,
bring them in. It's always gonna start out that way, and then it will, like I said, it will just avalanche. And I think it's just so wonderful to have such a strong supporter within the Girl Scouts like you. I mean, like you said, you're not just talking the talk. You are walking the walk. You are showing up at all of these places. That list of places that you guys are physically going to talk to families one-on-one is huge. Like that's an amazing list.
yeah, I'm pretty proud of that, and I'm thankful that each one of those organizations has welcomed us with open arms. And we're there. We're totally all in this movement, and it's exciting for us to be able to be out in the community and connecting with these families. And even whether it's not just the families, like other agencies are seeing us as, oh, we didn't even know that you were a resource that we had. So you know we're all about making the world a better place, and we're just doing it one girl at a time.
Well, and I think what is so impactful about what you're trying to do also is that you're not just bringing in a girl who needs a family, right, and a support system.
Right.
You're also showing these other girls who are typically developing what it is to be a friend, right, and what it is to welcome all types.
Yeah.
And I think when you get around this community, there's a really great appreciation for the things that you have and the things that then you can give to other people, right?
Exactly.
I mean, I think that that's a beautiful thing. And would you like to talk a little bit about how the girls who have participated in our program so far have reacted to working with kids with autism?
These girls are over the moon excited about being a part of this program, and it was kind of interesting. The night that they came to do the training, I think it was a lot of information that they were taking in. But the second they left the room that they took the training in, they were like all in, on board, just totally committed to everything that they were doing that night, and just watching the conversations, the interactions that they were having, the smiles on everyone's faces. Like this was something that I knew was going to be amazing, but actually when it came in to be able to watch it in action, it was a whole new level of awesomeness. Like there's like I don't really know how else to put it because what happened in that room is how we should be in this world and doing in this world and just being in this world. And the fact that Girl Scouts were able to step up and be a part of that, like my heart just swells with
Yeah.
like pride and watching those girls because it was beautiful. Like I can't think of another word other than just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, you like just to watch them over that hour
Yeah.
and to watch them as they, got more and more into it. And they like I think at the end of the class or the session, because the parents were listening to a seminar and we were in the other room
Yeah.
with the kids, we were all marching around the room
Mm-hmm.
with like little sticks and all the
Marching,
kids
dancing.
and
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
dancing and like everybody was in, everybody was playing together. I think the little kids were giving them hugs at the end of the day. Like it was the
Yeah.
cutest
It
thing.
was amazing.
And that's what these kids want. Like they want friends. Like they want people who want to be around them and enjoy them and play with them. And it was
Exactly.
the coolest thing to see.
And I think one thing I also want everyone to understand is that, I've said it, that we mean what we say, we want to show up, but this is also coming from something personal, like my daughter was diagnosed with a specific learning disability. So I know the challenges that she had, and I'm going to try not to like well up with this. I also know what this program did for her.
Hmm.
She was very shy, really was not the one to stand in front of anyone and give a speech, but she did her leadership in action where she had to, instruct brownies and, guide them in a lesson. And she earned her program aid. She'd gone through CIT, but my proudest moment of her was at one of our annual meetings. She decided to be a part of the Girl Led program. And one of the things that they had to do was, write a speech on one of the women that she admired most and deliver it in front of an auditorium of people. And I did not stay. I watched from home. I didn't want to take that moment from her, which is probably good. But watching my daughter stand in front of an entire room of individuals and deliver a speech on Jessica Cox, who was an armless pilot that she had met and admired, um, that's the power of Girl Scouts right there. Is that she learned those leadership skills and that moment that she had to like pull all of that in and deliver that speech and she nailed it. Um, that's why I'm all in with
Yeah.
getting these girls involved because I know the power of being a Girl Scout.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so you're doing two things, right? You're training the leaders of tomorrow, right? The typical girls who are already in the Girl Scouts about how to um, accept other people and invite them in and work and learn with them. And then you're also going to create leaders within the differently abled community and show them that they have a voice and that they can do things and that they're capable of talking in front of people and getting their wants and their needs and their stories out there and expressed.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had the pleasure last night of going to a final Gold Award interview, and this girl was full of anxiety going in, and I could see it on her face, and she nailed it. She is now a Gold Awardee, and I can't be prouder of these girls for what they're doing and putting their voices out there and taking a stand for themselves. And again, that's how we roll at Girl Scouts. We build those leaders of tomorrow that they're taking on the world challenges of today.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's really awesome, Carol. Thank you for coming in today and for talking with us about Girl Scouts, for, really putting the word about what Girl Scouts can do and how we can get our girls into accepting community. And I just think that that's huge and so important, and so very thankful for all of the work that you're doing in there. Members, if you guys have girls, talk to Carol.
Yeah.
Get your girls into scouting. Like, I'm so excited for when Maria can get into scouting because I loved it growing up. And I think that it's just a beautiful and accepting place. So thank you very much.
Thank you for welcoming us today, and I'm expecting a lot of phone calls or emails.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. You have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks. You too. Bye.
Bye.